In today's news, the signs are finally starting to become visible as people from outside the XRP community now are starting to look and research into this asset, wondering if they staked enough XRP. XRP is up over 40% in the past week, and we'll be getting into some of the key reasons why, but ultimately, it appears that XRP is preparing to decouple from the rest of the crypto market to repeat its 2018 bullish surge and then some to eventually be worth thousands of dollars. And Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse made many incredibly bullish announcements in this interview here, from confirming the release date of the new RLUSD Ripple stablecoin to confirming Ripple will replace the old system of Swift, and much more. We will be breaking all of this down, so listen very closely.
So in December 2020, the United States Securities and Exchange Commission argued that Ripple's sales of XRP, a digital asset and a technology we use in our technology stack, that our sales of XRP represented the sale of an unregistered security. We, of course, argued, and frankly, I had never considered the possibility that XRP was a security. I always kind of looked at it as its currency. And we engaged in a 3.5-year legal battle that consummated last summer. We won on the kind of core issue that XRP is not in and of itself a security. That's a quote from the judge's ruling, which was great to win, but it was $150 million of legal bills along the way, which we can talk more about the implications of that. But
yeah, and it carries on today, yes, in appeals?
It does carry on. I mean, the core matter has been resolved. There are a couple things that I'll call hangers-ons that the judge should rule on imminently, a month, maybe less, or maybe 2 months. I can't know that, but I'm looking forward to closure and full resolution.
So to kick off the interview, we already have a bullish announcement from Brad Garlinghouse regarding the legal proceedings. While the SEC has caused $150 million in legal fees, or legal damages if you will, Brad Garlinghouse is very optimistic that the final judgment will be decided in the next 1 or 2 months or so, which is very big news. Now, in the words of Edward Farina here, and I completely agree, the SEC lawsuit against Ripple is designed to suppress XRP's price so central banks and financial institutions can accumulate behind the scenes under a guise of the prolonged regulatory process, allowing a strategic advantage before XRP inevitably skyrockets. The final judgment is now closer than ever, and of course, this will result in a settlement deal, Ripple's victory, and mass adoption for XRP, and a significant price rise. Think what happened last time when XRP got the clarity that it's not a security. From 47 cents to almost $1, it's going to go so much higher as US institutions will finally receive the green light to start adopting XRP. And there are 2 clear reasons that I'm going to showcase to you why these institutions are going to want to adopt XRP. Now, firstly, it is because Ripple is the preferred choice for governments across the world, working with dozens to implement their CBDCs, like the Digital Euro Association, for example. And also, they are seamless and interoperable between any asset, any other CBDC or stablecoin. XRP is the bridge asset required to fuel every swap in and out of the networks. And the second reason, which is fairly obvious, is because of regulations. They are now coming in full force, the likes of MiCA, for example, in Europe, and XRP and Ripple are compliant as utility tokens under their guidelines. This is so important. These regulations are so important for crypto and especially for XRP's future. Listen closely again to Brad Garlinghouse.
Well, I'll tell you one interesting thing is I like to take interviews like this seriously. So as I prepared, I went and
Appreciate
watched.
that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. The last time I was on stage for Fortune Brainstorm was 5 years ago in Montauk. And not surprisingly, this exact same topic around regulatory dynamics came up. And one of the things I talked about was how important regulatory clarity was. And the frustrating thing as I sit here 5 years later is in some ways the world has changed a lot. In some ways it has really not changed at all. And I think it's incumbent upon the United States government, which truly has fallen behind, right? Europe, you have more than 24 countries that have come together and created a framework for digital asset regulation called MiCA or MiCA, I don't know how to pronounce it. And the fact that they're way ahead of where the US is. And you have in this United States Securities and Exchange Commission a dynamic of putting really politics and power ahead of sound policy. And 5 years ago I was saying we needed clarity, yet we still have the CFTC and the SEC and other parts of the US government arguing about how this should work. And when Gensler, the current chair of the SEC, came in, he went and hired more litigators. And instead of hiring people to actually codify and write policy, he went and hired more litigators. He goes in front of Congress and says, the rules are clear, we don't need new rules. But then we have federal judges ruling the opposite about the same. He's asked directly, is ETH a security? He won't answer the question.
So as he highlights, US regulations in this particular instance have been problematic, to say the least. It's become a bipartisan issue. The incoming election will end up playing a critical role in the future of crypto in this country. And if the United States of America don't accept, adopt, and adapt crypto, they will be left behind. Simple as that. They need to start accepting crypto, accepting Ripple and XRP. Because the largest asset manager in the world, BlackRock, $10 trillion over that even, they are incredibly bullish, going all in on Bitcoin and crypto. Tokenization is the next step for the financial evolution, which Brad Garlinghouse highlights again as well in this interview. This is more bullish than you can imagine, so listen and pay very close attention.
When we think about trading assets today, and you talk about securities, you talk about real estate, you talk about all these different things, there's friction associated with the movement and even the custody of those assets.
Yeah.
And the idea of if you can tokenize an asset and make it move the way a token moves on a blockchain, you can dramatically make those markets more efficient. Sure. And that's true in real estate. I mean, one of the things that Vlad said yesterday, I was in the audience yesterday, and I thought it was very powerful. He made the comment about how much his infrastructure costs to enable trading decrease between security settlement and crypto settlement.
Yeah.
And he actually said it was an order of magnitude cheaper because they can leverage public blockchains for the settlement.
Yeah.
And I think that people understandably get excited about crypto markets, and there's a lot of speculative dynamics. And I think we don't spend enough time talking about exactly what Vlad talked about.
Yeah.
Adoption of these technologies can dramatically reduce cost, improve efficiency, improve speed in the settlement of lots of different assets. Ripple started by focusing on the settlement of cross-border financial transactions, payments.
Right.
But you could, as you talk about the tokenization of different asset classes, now you have the CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink. They have $10 trillion of assets under management. He's one of the biggest advocates out there for crypto at large. He's made some really powerful comments that I think really speak to, and he used to be a naysayer and very dubious. And I think as he learned, he was like, oh wait, these technologies really can be used for real utility.
So as you just heard, another key talking point Brad Garlinghouse mentions here while talking about tokenization is the fact that institutions can save money by leveraging public blockchains. And that is further explained here from Franklin Templeton. They're in close partnership with Stellar XLM, which is very big news. XLM is going to be very big like XRP as well. And they explain why everything is going to be on a public chain, because private chains are highly vulnerable. Another big reason why XLM, but again, XRP will explode in value as CBDCs worldwide utilize Ripple's public chains. Take a listen.
That when people think about the future, they think, well, I need to build this capability and I need to do it as part of either a private chain or a permissioned chain so that I can control the data and I can control the ability to access and participate in the system. And let's be real, to also hold some of our edge because we don't want to be disintermediated. But I think what the missing understanding is that you are building a system that is going to be highly vulnerable if you go into these permissioned pools or into these private blockchains, because the number of developers that you have working on your security model, the number of nodes that you have actually doing verification is going to be far, 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 far fewer than any public blockchain, even new and beginning public blockchains. And those public blockchains are going to have higher levels of security than any private offering being built by anyone in the industry, simply because there's thousands upon thousands of developers that are constantly testing the security of these protocols, right? So I think that there's a fundamental misunderstanding that private somehow equals safer.
Now, moving swiftly on, the next bullish talking point I want to highlight here from Brad Garlinghouse is the long-term trends for crypto. He confirms here that there will be multiple winners in this space, as long as you don't look short-term and you think long-term. There are going to be more winners than you could possibly imagine, and assets like XRP in the long term will explode in value to make us early investors a lot of money. So pay attention, because this is very big.
Look, I think the long-term trends for crypto, whether it's because of inflationary dynamics, whether it's because of positive regulatory dynamics, the long-term trends for crypto, I think, are very positive. In some ways, it's taken longer to play out than I would have forecasted 10 years ago when I got in the industry. And in some ways, it's actually it's larger than I might have forecasted, right? You're talking about somewhere around $2.5 trillion is the total market.
Extraordinary.
And look, I have said publicly before, to much criticism. There's something like 15,000 tokens. I don't know that the world needs 15,000 tokens, but there is a segment, a category of there will be multiple winners here. That different chains are more efficient for different use cases, and that's normal and to be expected.
It goes without saying that even now we are very early, and there's a lot of money to be made in this market. Most crypto projects are going to 20, 30x if you just know where to look, and XRP could go even further beyond that in the long term. XRP and Ripple are going to be releasing their new Rlusd stablecoin, which is very bullish news to compete with the likes of USDC and USDT. Now, if I'm honest, this to me looks like an inevitability, that XRP and the Rlusd will be the most desired asset class out of the USDT, USDC and the rest of the projects to be used by everyone, which Brad Garlinghouse confirms as well in his interview, and they plan to release the Rlusd this quarter, Q3 of 2024, so in the next couple of weeks or even months now, but very shortly. Tether, as you should know now, is being delisted and dumped everywhere as they are not compliant with MiCA. And now, as we can see, XRP has just flipped USDC Circle, which is huge news, and this is still all just the beginning. Cyprus here posted that if XRP can hold above the 62.7 cent level, the support level right here, then we can expect a surge to the next level of resistance being at 76 cents, which would be huge news. But again, keep in mind, this is just in the immediate short term, as Brad Garlinghouse confirms again in the interview that one of their end goal plans is to replace the old SWIFT system, which will increase traffic and liquidity on the new XRP ledger as the backbone of the new financial system, which will increase the use case and therefore the price of XRP. For XRP to be worth thousands of dollars, take a listen.
So the SWIFT network, I imagine everyone here at some point in your lives has done a SWIFT-enabled transaction. You call it a wire transfer. One little side note, the expression wire transfer, the etymology of that is a telegram wire.
That's right.
This is not technology that has moved with the internet and advancement of these technologies. Do we compete with SWIFT? Yes. There are a lot of payment networks out there. And when I think about at the core what Ripple's trying to do, we're trying to let value move the way information moves today. What does that mean? You and I have been around for a while, these technologies. I was around, I had a Prodigy account, I had an AOL account, there's also CompuServe. You couldn't email between CompuServe and AOL.
Right.
That was not possible.
Right.
And then if you had technologies, in this case SMTP, come along, enable interoperability between networks that didn't speak to each other. Today we have payment networks that are the same as CompuServe, Prodigy, and AOL. You can't readily send a Visa payment to your mother-in-law in India on Mother's Day. You can't send that payment directly. That is ripe with friction, and the cost to do that would be outrageous, and the likelihood of errors is crazy. But yet it's all ones and zeros. It's all why can't we enable interoperability between payment networks? And so when I think about SWIFT, when I think about an ACH network, when I think about SEPA, which is a European local payment network, you have SPAY in Mexico. Ripple views a world where all of this is interoperable. People say, well, PayPal and Venmo, they don't talk to each other. They're owned by the same company, and they don't speak to each other.
Right.
So I think eventually we will get there. But because these are payment networks, we need to move slowly and make sure it is regulatorily compliant. But I think that these unlocks will really unlock a lot of value for society.
XRP is preparing to decouple from the rest of the crypto market, pumping up 8% right now, while Bitcoin is seemingly dumping. Going against the rest of the market, this is very big news. It is crucial now more so than ever before, in my opinion, to do your own research. Not financial advice, of course, but remember, don't look short term, think long term, and I'll see you in the next one.